No slides, so don't look behind me, look at me. My name is Mihail Stefanov. It's really, really great to be here today. I love speaking about speaking. This is something really cool. I will try to stay within the time limit. But I'd love if you work with me on that. My topic is 3+1 hacks, and this is always very difficult because there's so many things you want to say. But let's start with the hacks. First hack. Nobody cares. Okay? Nobody cares. Now, the biggest mistake that we as speakers, and it doesn't matter the context. You can do a business presentation, like in a very boring business meeting room, very boring topic, whatever, so nothing exciting, all the way to a stage presentation in front of a very, very good-looking, smart, engaged audience. The first mistake that a presenter, a speaker, does when they go on stage is to subconsciously, we somehow automatically accept or believe that what he or she has to say is very important for the audience. That is not the case. So the first hack, when you start preparing for your talk or your presentation, whatever it is the belief that nobody cares about your topic. They just don't care. 2018, why are you laughing? That's the truth. 2018, I'm traveling around the country. I did a platform for young people, teaching them skills of the future. So skills of the future, stuff like, soft skills, communication skills, critical thinking, problem solving, blah, 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 blah. And we designed a very cool product, video-based. It was free, and I'm traveling throughout the country, visiting high schools, because these kids were my top target audience. And I want to see if they like what we've done, just the first episode, to see if I need to spend the rest of the money or no. And I show them the episode, I do a presentation, and my presentation starts with, there is an organization called the World Economic Forum, and the World Economic Forum has these top 10 skills of the future. You can imagine the rest of it. And now, it is I would say medium to well-crafted presentation. The kids enjoy it most of the times. But now there is a high school in the town of Novi Iskar. Those of you who are from Sofia, they know Novi Iskar. It's something in between a neighborhood and a town outside of the city. And I'm in this high school, and I go through 1, 2, 3 presentations, and suddenly, after the third or the fourth presentation, the teacher that was hosting me, she came to me and she said, now our 9th class, like 9th B, they will come, but don't worry, I'm here. I was like, okay, what does that mean? I've worked with hundreds of teenagers throughout my life, so I'm not really worried until, the school bell rang, and several girls, very quietly, which is not really typical for teenage girls, but quietly, they sat over there in the back, last rows. And after them, a group, I would say a herd of 8 to 10 skinheads, football hooligans, entered. And it turned out that in this 9th B, 9th B, in Novi Iskar High School at the time, there were almost a dozen football hooligans from the 2 competing teams, Levski and CSKA, but they study in the same class. So in the weekends, they fight with each other because of their football. But during the week, they're one united front against the school. Yeah. Now, and I am there to speak about critical thinking, emotional intelligence, skills of the future. Now you laugh because you see the discrepancy. Discrepancy between what? My audience and my topic. they don't care. The first mistake you make, because this is a very extreme example that shows, it illustrates how far away an audience can be from a topic. But let me tell you, even in the most daily business situations, like when you assume that your boss is very, very aware or very, very into your topic, let me tell you, this is not the case. Or, to put it differently, your boss is into your topic for different reasons than you. Okay? Your boss, when he or she listens to your presentation, they are looking for specific things. So they don't care about what you care. Okay? And this is the starting point for great communication. Because after that, you go to the healthy question. What is the healthy question? What do they care about? And how can I make them care about what I care about? Oh, glorious. And this is the second hack. Okay, the second hack is you connect what's important for you to something that's important for them. Yeah, that's the second hack. It's a very, very simple thing. Now, the first hack you remember, and then don't worry or pay attention and worry, because you're not allowed to leave the building before you complete the test that I've prepared. Everybody's like, oh my God, no, am I joking, Jimmy? No. Did you print the test? Perfect. So, they're not laughing. What's going on? Have you been testing them? They know about the test. Perfect. So, the first mistake is that we assume that they care. And so the first hack is we don't assume that anymore. We assume that they don't. And this puts us in a creative mode. We start looking into their world, and this is probably why Jimmy said that this is sort of a UX design process. We start looking into their world to understand what they care about. And then we're like, okay, how does this relate to what I'm talking about? Now let's do the exercise with the young people in Novi Iskar. Okay? What do you think they care about? Football, very good. What else? Fights, very good. So they care about being strong, yeah? Supporting their team, very good. What do I care about in that specific situation? So staying alive? Staying alive? No, yeah. I care about skills of the future. Okay, so that's my topic. That's what I care about. But they don't care about that. They care about something else. So now, hack number 2, please connect for me the dots. Make a connection between skills of the future topic and something they care about. Come on. I'm a very good teacher. The best teachers are lazy teachers. They make the students work while they watch. So please, work. Go, 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 go. Very good. Do it for me. Thank you. You walked into the trap. Now you should continue. Continue. Do it. No. Give me a message. Give me a message. Yeah. Make questions. Give me an example. I mean, no, in theory, it's great. That's exactly where we're at. Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, now this is exactly how you think. This is exactly how we approach the second hack. Thank you very much. What's your name? Antonio. Thank you, Tony. This was great. Please, yeah. Tony deserves a round of applause for her courage. Absolutely, yeah. That's exactly what you do. Oh, they love football. How does football relate to skills of the future? I don't know, but I have to find out. And this is a door I can enter, okay? I didn't choose that path. I chose a different path because one of my it's an instinct, it's an automated reaction with me. I constantly look for the common ground with the audience. So my common ground there was fighting. I've done boxing. My nose when my nose was broken, my wife said no more boxing. You should find something peaceful. So I found Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She was like, that's not peaceful. I was like, no, Jiu-Jitsu in Japanese means gentle art. It's gentle. It's like they say. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu means it's the art of folding clothes while people are still inside. So it's very gentle. It's very, very sweet thing. And I had just back then I was probably 3 years into Jiu-Jitsu, and I had just come back from a competition. Of course, they had beaten me up badly, but that's a whole different presentation. So I asked the kids. I said, guys, do you train something? And they were very, very surprised. Why do you think they were surprised? It's obvious they train. Okay. Yeah, I'm aiming at a different thing, yeah? I ask a question. I show interest in them, and that's a first. Let me tell you, most presenters that I see are what we call in Bulgarian samovlubeni, loving themselves. They go on stage and tell things that are important for them. Don't do that. What's the opposite of samovluben? Empathic, okay, yeah, but I'm looking for a specific word. Huh? Go. Huh? Unpassionate. No. Samovluben is someone who loves themselves. Selfless presenter. Yeah, no. The opposite of samovluben is vluben, guys. Vluben. Samovluben, you love yourself. Vluben, you love the other person. Yeah. I think UX designers, that you need to be vluben, yeah? You need to be in love with the audience. You need to. But it's the same with talking. It's the same with communication. So the kids were in shock because I acted like I'm in love with them. I was like, I'm so interested in you. Tell me, do you train something? And they're like, yeah, I do boxing, I do kickboxing. The one guy said Muay Thai novice career. I mean, but yeah, he might, but they were big, tough guys. One of them was bigger than me, 9th grader. He was like huge. Probably 9th grade for the 3rd time, I don't know. And who knows? And we started laughing, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And they were very impressed. Oh, wow. And I said, I'm here to talk to you about skills of the future. And I believe one of the very important skills that we as men need to have is protect ourselves. And they were like, yes. Of course, I also talked to the girls, but I had to diffuse the danger first, okay? They said, yes. And then I gave them the anatomy of what's called the rear naked choke, RNC, which is like you push the arteries, you stop the blood flow to the brain with a really tight choke, and then people pass out. And I explained this to them, and then I showed it to the big guy. I just did a rear naked choke. The teacher almost fainted. She was like, oh, he didn't pass out. Like I didn't do it the full, all the way through, but he started coughing. It was like a very interesting, dynamic situation. They absolutely adored it, yeah? They were like, oh my God, this is the best class we've had in 9 years of school. And then I just said, do you agree that this is a skill of the future? They said, absolutely. And they said, do you want to know more skills like this? They were like, yes. And then I said, there is an organization called the World Economic Forum. Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about. And this was hack number 2. Connecting something that's important for them with what's important for you. And this is called synthesis, okay? It's a very creative act. And this is why most people make mistake when they want to talk in front of a stage. They sit down, they open their slide software, whatever it is, and they say, what do I want to say? Nobody cares. Remember, that's the first thing. Nobody cares what you want to say. Who am I talking to? What's important for them? And how to say things so that they're connected to what's important for them. That's a completely different start of a presentation. You don't need slides. Yeah? It's obvious you don't need slides. But I also told you hack number 3. And hack number 3 is what the Greek philosophers called energia. And energia, this is not some kind of weird spiritual, I'm God, you are God, everything is God, and this type of thing. No. The energy with which you communicate. And now, and I'll close with a +1, but I still have some time, yeah? So, yeah, okay. Um, so many people that I see presenting, talking, probably because, I don't know, they're, it's a difficult thing to go on stage. And someone said in America there is a research that they were less afraid of dying than public speaking, which makes sense probably. I mean, some people prefer physical death, instead of the ego dying, because embarrassment is the death of the ego, yeah? But when ego dies, that's fine. But energia is what the Greek philosophers called, and we might translate it with passion. And many people that I hear talking, and I include teachers at schools, professors at university, they're passionless. It sounds like they don't care about the topic. Sometimes it's anxiety. I stand on the stage and I'm like, oh my God, I hope it ends soon. And I'm like, I'm in a survival mode. And this is understandable. But without energia, without without showing with the body that you care deeply about your topic, it's lost. Okay? Nobody believes you. And that's the thing. Even with business presentations, for some reason we've sort of accepted this truth that business presentations, they should be emotionless. Oh, that's not true. Humans are very emotional beings. Now, should you dance during a business presentation? Well, it depends on the business. Yeah? But most of the times, no. That's not really appropriate. But should you sound deeply passionate about what you're talking about? Yes. Yeah. So there is this false idea that professional means disconnected and somehow dispassionate. And I think this is the worst idea ever. And I think this is why teachers, they would go into our classrooms or the classrooms of my children and our children, and they would go in and they'll be like, now we have to go through a very exciting period of Bulgarian history. They're like, really? Is it really exciting? Is it really? So this is the third hack. If you talk about something that you deeply care about, make it visible, make it audible that you care about. So this passion that you have, this care that you have, this emotion that you feel for what you're talking about, it should be outside. It should be visible and audible. People should hear it in your intonation. They should see it in your face. There was a cartoon, I don't know, probably, seeing half of the audience at least, you won't have any idea what I'm talking about based on how old I was when I was seeing that cartoon. But there was a cartoon about two dogs, a son and a father, Droopy and Dripple. I don't know if you've ever seen that cartoon, but it was typical, the dogs are the good protagonist, and there is like a bad wolf, and he tries to steal a very beautiful woman every time, and then the dogs rescue the woman, and then in the end, when of course the woman is rescued, and she gives one of the two dogs, or sometimes both of them, a kiss on the cheek. It's a children's show, so it's on the cheek. And they usually explode, steam coming out of their ears, their eyes become big, it's like cartoon, and then in the end, one of them will take out a triangle flag, and they'll say, I'm happy. Yeah, so this is energia. It's showing how much you care. And this is also expressed in connection. Trying to, seeing people, looking in their eyes, trying to reach them, being in love, showing passion and love for your audience, for the people who are there. Even if they're like your boss and, I know everybody's like, you're crazy now, you're crazy. No, I'm serious. I've worked in the past decade, I've had the opportunities to work with the CEOs and the board of directors of the biggest companies in Bulgaria, also internationally. And let me tell you, if you approach them as an audience that you're interested in, you're curious about, that you like and love, even though they're like in terms of power and money and they're very far away from you. If you approach them like this, you'll be in a very unique situation because nobody approaches them like this. Yeah? Nobody approaches them like this. So if you approach them like, what's important for you? What are you really looking to find in my presentation? And then I'm really passionate about that. Like I really care. It changes everything. Like it completely transforms the public speaking experience of both the speaker and the listener. And the plus one hack. So let's do a small, the teacher in me cannot resist. Hack number 1, summary. Nobody cares. Bravo, bravo. Hack number 2. Bravo, bravo. You can get a croissant after that. Connect what's important for them to what's important for me. Okay, start from what's important from them. Show them why they need to care. And hack number 3. Energia. Show them how much you care in any way possible. Yeah? And of course, this is, I have a colleague at work. She's very sweet. She's on my team. And one day she came to me and she said, I can see your passion and all that. I was still, young manager. I mean, she didn't know me that well. And she said, I really want you to know that I'm very passionate about our projects, but I just don't show it. But I don't want you to think that I'm not passionate. I just can't show it. Now, this is a challenge. If you're like this is a challenge for public speaking. You have to push it, okay, a little bit. I don't need to push it. I need to stop it, but that's a whole different issue. Okay, and the plus one. The plus one is, I would say, the highest creative challenge, okay? When you start with where the audience is, when you start with what's important for them, when you work with that, when you build your presentation around that, and when you feel like deeply connected to the audience and very passionate and ready to show that you care, there is one final thing that I would recommend, because of course we're not talking today about logical structures, argumentation, all of that we're skipping. I sort of assume that you can do that, or we can all do it to some extent. But what's really a game changer, so I'm talking about game changers today, hacks, quick things. But what's really a game changer is one final question that I really love asking myself. And this question is, if there was one thing that my audience will remember, will never forget, remember always from my presentation, what is that? And this is a very tough thing to ask, because obviously till the rest of their lives they will see many presentations. Okay, they will probably we see thousands of messages every day. How do you do something so peculiar, so special that it's unforgettable? Now, this is a question I ask for every presentation. You can start by thinking, and I'll give you several examples for that. You can make people laugh and all that, but this will, the problem with just tools like making them laugh or whatever is that they tend to remember the emotion, but if you ask them what was he talking about or she, they're like, oh, I have no idea. It was fun. Make them create again. That you can do, involve their bodies in the process. That's fantastic. Choke them out. That's unforgettable. At least for the guy. No, but seriously, involving the bodies of the audience in something is a very, very good approach, because we learn through our bodies. We sort of, engage. This is good. This is good. Several great examples, and by this I finish. Sorry? How? Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, how do you impact them? Bill Gates was speaking TEDx, not TEDx, the big conference, TED. He's speaking about malaria. It takes place, I think it was Los Angeles. I'm not really sure. Let's say Los Angeles. What is the problem that Bill Gates has with his audience? They don't care. How come? They don't care. Because it's very far from them. What does he do? He does something amazing. He gets a jar. No, it's a jar. And he says, you know, malaria is transmitted by mosquitoes. So, because you are very far from the topic, nobody, no one in this room will ever get malaria. So, I brought several mosquitoes that have malaria. And he opened the jar and he did this. Simple thing, eh? Everybody was like, really? And then you start feeling all the goosebumps. You're like, oh my God, is it a mosquito? Okay. Jamie Oliver, Ted gave him a big prize, big stipend for his campaign against, sugar and all that. And he did this presentation after that and just speaking about how bad sugar is and all of that. And then he came to the stage. A guy came on stage with a wheelbarrow full of sugar cubes. And Jamie Oliver said something, now I spoke enough, now I want to show you. And he took a glass full of, like 10 cubes, and he said, this is what a kid in America, how much sugar daily they get from only milk at school. Then he took a bowl, he said, this is only milk, one kid per week sugar. And then he took the wheelbarrow and he said, for the first 4 years of American, primary education, this is the amount of sugar that every kid gets only from milk at school. And he did this with the wheelbarrow, and the audience was like, oh, I'm never giving sugar to my kid again. Like, it's like this huge amazement. So, what is this moment that will transform the audience, that will challenge them, that will make them remember what you had to say? This is the final hack of my presentation. You can shock them, you can make them afraid, you can make them think, or you can tell them a story about ultrases in Novi Iskar. Because this will stick for you. The only thing you probably remember in 1 year from now, from this presentation, is about a guy who choked on ultras in 9th grade. And when they ask you why, you'll be like, I'm not really sure, he was presenting about something. But stories are actually the easiest hack to do that. So use stories. It was such a great pleasure. Thank you so much for the attention and listening.
There might be a question.
No. Because connecting to human beings is connecting to human beings. I have found myself in a situation when the audience really does not care about my topic. But this is not about connecting with them. It's about them understanding my topic. And then I try to use examples and stories from their world to explain the topic a little bit better, or to show them why it is important for them. But connecting, that's a whole different thing. If you like people, if you're interested in people, you connect to them. No, you disagree. You disagree. There are people who are not really willing to connect quickly, but that's a whole nother thing. I mean, sometimes with some people you need interactions that are a little bit longer. It's winning them over, but that's a different thing. How do you connect with girls? I have 2 daughters, 1 wife, and a female dog. I can write a book. I can write a book on how I connect with girls. But I would say I sit down with them, and instead of seeing, oh, they have big lips, I'll be like, where did you make your lips? And I'll listen with a huge interest. Not because I'm planning on doing it, but because this is important for them. You connect with people through what's important for them, not what's important for you. And if we learn, and as a social researcher, I've learned to do that, sometimes, more successful than other times, but in general, I suspend my judgment. Okay, when I see someone, I'm not like, oh, what a funny hair color. I don't do that. I was like, this is very interesting. I love your hair. because otherwise I'm just putting in my, my cultural ideas of what hair should be like, and I almost have no hair now. So it's not even fair to do that. So I try to understand and be curious about the human being, and you always connect like that. Nobody, it's very, very rare that we do that. So people are really like, oh, I like that, even when it's strange. Yes, please. Yeah. I choked the guy. Yeah. All the girls after that we connected because they were very happy that I choked the guy. I solved the problem for them as well. I know. Yes. Well, first of all, you always think about your audience, and if you have the feeling or the knowledge, because sometimes it's a feeling, you don't know. Sometimes it's a knowledge. If you go on to an event, you can ask the organizers. Yeah, you can think about what kind of industry will come, and you always adapt your messages, you always adapt your stories, you always adapt your, the sort of the perspective that you use. And if there are like 3 groups in the audience, I would probably give one example for one group, then switch to the other group, and I'll try to connect with all of the groups at some point of my talk. Does that? Oh, this one. No. This story is, it's a universal story because it illustrates. So there are some human universal stories. This one is one of them. Archetypical stories. It shows right away what you mean. So this one is easy. Yeah. Yes, please. Now, first of all, the big question is, do you have the power to say, can you please switch your cameras, guys? Now, this is the first question. They don't want to. Technically, we should say, okay. So several things I do very, very quickly. The cameras are a specific thing. So if you want to look like you're smiling on a camera, you have to be almost grinning. So cameras tend to make us more serious and more, so you have to overact a little bit when you present in front of a camera, which is difficult because you don't see the reactions. Now I see your reactions. When someone is smiling, I'm like, so it's easy. When you don't see the reaction, you have to pretend, you have to imagine that they're like this, so that you can. It's a difficult job. It's not an easy job, but there it's so easy to lose the energia. And I know energia it must be there regardless. And the second hack that I have for online presenting is I always, if it is a small group, I always do an exercise for them. Like, now please find a piece of paper, write something and show it to the camera. It sounds like it's designed, but it's actually, hey, you can actually turn on your camera without me making you do so, like without me saying turn on your cameras. No, it's an exercise, show. And then, I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you send us a photo then in the chat. So I try to engage their bodies, which I told you, engage their bodies, even if they're online, because they sit somewhere, they live somewhere, they can interact with something, and this helps with interaction. One final question.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. That is really important. I never thought of saying, you have to breathe like this. Yep. Okay. Well, sometimes crying is not bad. No, I'm serious. No. Confucius, this ancient friend of mine, Confucius, he had an opponent, and the opponent's name was S, just S. And our Confucius' main recommendation for S was, he said, S is a fine speaker, fine orator, but he cannot stutter. And this is very interesting. In Bulgarian, ne može da se zapeva. And you're like, what does he mean? Like a fine orator, a fine speaker, they should not stutter. They should not be, they should not have this emotional, breakdown. They should not be silent on stage. Now, Confucius knew otherwise. When you see someone who is a perfect speaker and orator, you don't trust them. Because they're like, now they know how to manipulate me. But when you see so he said, the perfect speaker, the perfect orator is the one who can stutter at the right place. So that people say, oh, he's like me. He's like, so sometimes, but this is another, we're entering different territories now, but sometimes shedding a tear, or trembling voice, or being silent for 20 seconds because it's very, very emotional for you. I mean, I'm being real, not, faking it. That's the unforgettable moment that you need. So I won't be worried too much about that. I won't press it down if I were you. You're welcome, and breathe.
Once again, thank you, Misha.